Hey everyone, I'm Scott Brick, audiobook narrator, and welcome to my booth. Thanks for joining me here today. So I'm wearing this shirt. You can't quite see it. It says "Booyah," which is, of course, the great Stuart Scott phrase. And I wear that for a couple of reasons. One, because Stuart was my hero. The other, because I narrated a book recently and the reviews have already come out, and they're the best reviews that the author Landon has gotten for any of his thrillers. It's called The Hike. And matter of fact, the best review that we read, Landon forwarded it along to me, compared it to Breaking Bad. So immediately, I thought I would share this with you. I'm a great big fan of having props in the booth. Immediately, Landon sent these along, and I thought that I've kept them in my booth ever since. I had them in my booth here on this shelf above me so I could see them while I was narrating it. I just kept thinking, don't make me ask you what's my name. But it was a wonderful review, and I thought I would share a little bit of it from the prologue with you today. It's about a slightly dysfunctional family. Sound familiar, anyone? The main character, his name is Brad Cranston. He has a younger brother named Conrad, and they have a sister, Heidi. It's primarily the story of the two brothers. Conrad has dealt with substance abuse issues over the years, alcohol abuse issues, and his older brother Brad is trying to, when it looks like he's gotten clean, Brad reaches out and says, hey, why don't we go on a hike? And they prepare for months for this hike, the Appalachian Approach Trail, which starts in Georgia. It's like a 6-month-long hike. I didn't know that was possible. And their sister Heidi, trying to help, is essentially going to be supplying them. Well, the story begins with Brad at the trail, at the beginning of the trail in Georgia, and Conrad isn't there. So when he's really, really late, Brad calls Heidi, and that's where I'm going to pick it up from. It's Brad, he said. He already quit, didn't he? Heidi said. I knew it. No, he still hasn't shown up. There was a pause. What? I've been waiting at the entrance to the approach trail since noon, and he's not here. Have you heard from him? No. Since the plane landed on time and he didn't answer, I just figured he was on his way to you. You know how horrible he is with his cell phone, if he brought it at all, she said, an edge to her voice that seemed laced with both sadness and disappointment. He knew that rage was just around the bend. Yep. He tipped his head to the right, sandwiching the phone between his ear and right shoulder, while he lowered his pack to the lobby floor. He then told her all of the scenarios he had thought through. Other than waiting here to see if he shows up, the only thing I can think of is to call and see if he even got on the plane in Detroit. Can you check for me? Don't you have your cell phone? She asked. No, I didn't want it on the trip with me. Another pause. Okay, I'll call, she said. Thanks, and hey, let's not panic. He's put too much into this thing to back out now. That big-hearted oaf will be here any minute, wearing his toothy grin and armed with a ridiculous story about why he was late. And while he tells me the tale, he'll be slinging his backpack around with his thick, hairy arms because he can't stand still. Heidi's tone was serious. He may still have a touch of his old charisma, and he's smarter than he deserves to be, but Brad? He's 38 years old. I'll call. 5 minutes later, one of the phones behind the check-in counter rang. An attendant waved him over. Heidi? He never got on the flight. Didn't even check in a bag, she said. Her voice was a whisper, half concerned, half enraged. After all Conrad had put the family through, Brad knew this would be the fatal blow with Heidi. She would now join their parents in the Done with Conrad Club. After dinner with his family a month ago, His father had pulled him aside, eyes narrowed and more serious than a retiree's should be, and said, "Don't bring him on the hike." If he lost faith in Conrad now, he'd never forgive himself. There had to be some explanation. Had to be. Even Heidi knew that Conrad was over-invested in the hike, and Conrad was never invested in anything. Spent too much time in his own head, or when he was heavy into every drug on the market, spent too much time out of his head. "It doesn't add up," Brad said. "Stop, Brad," she said. "Stop. This is it for me. I'm through. I've got a whole bedroom in my house stacked with packages ready to send to you two along the way." He heard her start to cry. "He's gone, and you know it." "Heidi, I'm sorry. I know how much you've done to help us. We wouldn't even be able to attempt this thing without you." He paused, searching for something to say to keep her on board. "Look, I'm going to stay another night here and wait. We owe it to ourselves and to him." "There has to be a reason," he said, wondering if he believed what he had just said. "You know how to reach me. I'll call you in the morning, okay?" She sniffled. "Fine," she said. The next morning, he awoke to no Conrad. And the next morning. And the next. Nothing from Heidi. On Wednesday, he left the lodge and headed home to Michigan. Conrad had disappeared. And then things go horribly, horribly wrong. Even further wrong from there. This book's got it all. Action, adventure, some organized crime, some drug dealers. Yeah, I can see why the reviews compare it to Breaking Bad. It's a hell of a ride, and I really hope you enjoy it. The Hike from Landon Beach. It's his fourth and best novel yet. Hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed narrating it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.